Hello, I am Peaches and your host of On Location TV. My guest today is a 6-year-old third grader who is an evangelist and youth inspirational speaker. He is Samuel M. Green, and he is here today with his mother, Joanne Green, teacher Beverly Coleman, to share his story of how he is using his amazing gift from God at such an early age to spread the word of the gospel. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with the rest of the show. We're back, and again, I'm Peaches and your host of On Location TV with my guest today. I am excited. I know you're a little nervous.
Yes.
But we're going to make it. We're going to calm down and we're going to do this. I want to welcome you to the show, Samuel M. Green. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you here in my house to talk about what Samuel M. Green is doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Want to welcome you, Mom.
Thank
Joanne
you.
Green.
Thank you.
And we just going to relax. You don't have to be nervous about this. If I'm not nervous, don't you be nervous.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
We're just in the house having a conversation.
Okay.
I'm excited that you're here to first talk about, I kind of first found out about Samuel about a month ago. And ran across an interview he did, and once I saw that interview on Fox 40, it made me go to his website.
Oh,
now,
wow.
when I saw a 6-year-old got a website, 6 years old, and you got a website,
Yes.
I went to that website to find out more information about what he's doing
Yes.
and his calling, so to speak. Now, people, you know, at 6 years old, or he started this, at the age of 5?
Well, he really started at 3 years old. He was active in church at 3. He was singing songs and doing stories and things like that at church, and he really started being active in church at 3.
Right, okay. But when did he do the first?
His first live sermon was at 5, and that was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes.
Now, before we get into talking about all of this, because it is a gift, and we want to share that gift,
Right.
and if he moves around, like I said, he's 6 years old at first. He can be anything else, but first he's 6.
Okay.
So we just not going to even worry about that.
Okay.
If whatever he wants to say, do, we're good.
Thank
okay?
you.
We're
Thank
good.
you.
Now let's talk about first finding out a little information about you and Samuel.
Okay.
Are you all from Jackson, Mississippi?
Yes, we're here. We live here in Jackson, Mississippi, and I'm just so glad, first of all, just to be on this show, just to let the viewers know just how the Lord has blessed Samuel with this special gift.
Right.
And
right.
I'm his mom. I have 2 kids. My youngest is Samuel. My oldest is Cedric.
Okay.
And my oldest son, Cedric, also helps out a lot with Samuel's ministry.
Okay.
And Samuel he's 6 years old. He's in the 3rd grade. And Samuel has been ministering for the Lord. And like I say, he's been very active in church.
Right.
And we've been around to so many different churches here, just in the local area.
Right, right. Well, Samuel, how do you like that? How do you like going around to these different churches, speaking?
Well, it's pretty fun to share God's words when I speak. And it's really awesome how I speak because people be so impressed by me, how I speak,
Right,
and
right.
how my messages go to them.
Right. Now, I'm just sitting here in amazement. You know, I got to regroup myself because I'm like, okay, did this come from a 6-year-old? What I just heard, you know? Now, he throwing me off my game. He throwing me off my game. So that is something. That is something now. Let's find out a little bit more about what he's doing now. Let's talk about first Samuel being the 6-year-old. Now, you're in what grade are you in?
I'm in the 3rd grade at College Drive Sunday Vintage Church. It's a school with a church.
And you just was promoted to the 3rd grade?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell us about school. Do you like school, and what's your favorite subject at school?
My favorite subject at school is called math.
It's called math. And not even adults like math. But a 6-year-old likes math. That is good. That's good. Now, what's your teacher? Tell us about some of your teachers. Who are some of your teachers? What's the name of some of your teachers at your school that you go to? Who's your favorite teacher? Now, I'm not going to ask you who your favorite teacher, because that might get him in trouble.
Okay.
Tell us about school. What do you like about school?
School has playground. School helps you learn an education.
Mm-hmm.
And sooner or later, you'll be had an education from school, because school is the best. You get to go there, do some work, and maybe you can just go outside. And then this is our English schedule. We come in the morning, do worship and the pledge, and then after we do worship and the pledge, we go on and start doing our work. Soon it's lunchtime. Lunchtime comes around. Soon it's snack time. Then at snack time we go outside and play after we get done with snacks. Then after we get done with snacks, it's lunchtime. We go and have lunch. And then when we come back, we go to play. Then we go to sleep. And while she's reading the story to us, that's what we do. And then we got to do work. And after that, we really get to go home. But on half days, we just stop at lunch, then we go home.
Okay. Now tell me, since I just found out your whole schedule for today at school, what do you want to be when you grow up after you get all this education? Have you thought about what you want to be when you grow up?
What I want to be when I grow up is...
Hadn't quite decided?
Yes, I have decided I want to be a doctor that takes care of babies and kids.
Okay. Now you talked about that snack time at school. You got a favorite food that you like?
I like apple chips, bananas, and oranges, and peaches.
Oh, well, you got a list of stuff that you like. Now, we're going to switch over and talk about Samuel M. Green, the evangelist, and the inspirational speaker.
Do you want me to tell you one of some of my classmates' names?
Yeah, tell me.
These are all the second graders. My friend Bruce, Cullen, and Vincent, and excluding me. We're all going to be in the third grade. So the second graders are going to be Peyton, Landon, and Kaylee.
Okay.
Peyton and Landon are twins.
Okay. So you just gave a shout out to his classmates, which is okay.
And we have kindergartens. The first kindergarten is Reagan. Second kindergarten is Mason. The third kindergarten is Braden. And the fourth kindergarten is Reagan.
Okay. Well, let me turn and ask Mama some questions. How about that? Can I ask her a few questions? Because she's sitting over there and she wants to talk. So we're going to ask her a few questions. We're almost out of time with this segment. But, of course, like I said, first he's a 6-year-old. And then, of course, he's an evangelist.
Yes.
And before we even get started, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to you a little bit more. And then the last segment, we're going to bring in Ms. Coleman, who works with him. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so y'all stay tuned. You do not want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Tonight's guest is Samuel M. Green, evangelist and youth inspirational speaker. For speaking engagements, call 601-291-6010 or email samuelgreenbooking@gmail.com or log on to www.samuelmgreen.com or go to YouTube and type in C Walker 189.
We're back, and again, I'm Peaches, and your host of On Location TV with my guest today, Joanne Green, mom, and her son, Samuel M. Green, the evangelist and youth inspirational speaker.
Yes.
Now, those are some powerful shoes to fill
Yes.
as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
but as a 6-year-old, how do you all deal with that?
Well, I think we are handling it very well because Samuel started off, like I said, just speaking in church, and then he started like reading the Bible stories and things like that, and he really enjoyed the Bible stories. So he started getting up and elaborating on the things that he read in the Bible.
So he is understanding what he's reading with your assistance?
With my assistant and also with Miss Beverly Coleman assistant.
Okay.
He's understanding exactly what he's reading. He enjoyed the stories. He enjoyed getting up and spreading God's word to all ages.
Right.
We thought it would just be to the younger group, but
Uh-huh.
he's inspiring all ages.
Now, his first sermon was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Right. And
Now, how did that start? Before he got to Birmingham, I understand he said a prayer.
Right. I was up during the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's a show that comes on, a teleconference, and it's called Morning Manna. And it's sponsored by the South Central Conference Women of Seventh-day Adventists.
Uh-huh.
And I was up doing my devotion, and at 5:30, they go on the air at 5:30.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the show, she asked for a volunteer to pray. And Samuel, he know that I get up every morning doing this, so he joined me for this devotion.
Okay.
And when she asked for a volunteer to pray, I got online and I said, my son can pray, and she thought I was talking about a older son or
Right.
older child.
Eccentric.
And so when his little voice came on and he prayed and he volunteered to do the Lord's Prayer. And after the teleconference, she called me, Miss Clementine called me, and she asked me, she was asking me questions about Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, is there anything else? I said, yes, he's very active in church. He loved to sing. He loved to speak. So she asked me, would we prepare something and could he come to her church and speak for a youth day program?
Okay.
And I told her right off, yes, he could come. And I contacted Miss Beverly, and we prepared a sermon for him.
Uh-huh.
And the title of that sermon was Double for Your Trouble by Job.
Now, tell us a little bit about that, Samuel. Double for your trouble.
Well, double for your trouble is really Job, because God gave him all he really needed, but then the devil took away what all he had.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I call that's why I call that message double for his trouble, because I use this word in there.
Mm-hmm.
God gave Job children and some animals, and the devil stepped in and took all that stuff away from him.
Okay.
So right there I say God gave him double for his trouble, because he gave him more stuff and more stuff that he had in the first place.
Amazing. Amazing. So now, how do you feel when you get ready? How do you prepare? How do you get ready when you see all of these people out there in the crowd? Are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous. Some of my classmates ask me, how do you remember all those things? And do you ever get scared when you go out to preach? I tell them, well, to be honest, I never worry about what I'm going to say or being afraid to speak in front of people, because I know that the Lord has my back.
I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked that he's able to deliver.
Yes.
That's a gift.
It's a blessing.
That's a gift.
Yes.
And not, some of us as adults, when we say that we finna go up or we gotta go up,
We're nervous. Yes, and
And for
fear.
him to be able to do that,
Right.
that's an inspiration right there to
Yes.
the public and even to the viewing audience today.
Right.
He's encouraging people,
Mm-hmm.
to put that fear behind, because God has what?
My back.
He has your back. And he's not going to let you fail, huh? Is that it? Joanne.
Yes, and that's what the parents, that's the good comments and things that we're getting. The feedback that we get from the parents is that it's inspiring their children to want to read more, and it's inspiring adults to want to read more and study more.
Now, how is his schedule? Let's talk about his schedule for a second.
Okay.
Is he booked, or he's being booked, or how is that?
Yes, once he appeared on TV on Fox 40, but before then, he spoke on a station called 3ABN, and that was out of West Frankfort, Illinois.
Right, okay.
And that was broadcast before millions. And
Okay.
ever since then, I've been getting calls for him to speak in different places. Here in Jackson, yes, he's being booked. He's booked solid here in Jackson.
Now, I just asked Samuel, how is he working this out, and how is this affecting him? But as a parent, how are you dealing with it?
Well, it can be stressful, but you have to know how to balance it out. I work a full-time job, but Samuel Ministry is almost becoming full-time also.
Right.
But the good thing about it, I have a lot of help. I
Okay.
have some wonderful people
That are working with
me.
So you got a team.
I have a team. Praise God for the team.
You have a
Yes,
team.
I have a team.
Now,
And,
we're going to switch over and bring in Ms. Coleman, but if somebody's interested in getting in contact with you all to book Samuel, how can they go about doing that?
They could, two ways. They can contact me, and my cell phone number is 601-291-6010, or they could go to his website,
Okay.
which is www.samuelmgreen.com.
Okay. Now, we're not going to mention a fee, because
Right.
we're not going to mention a fee, but we want to let the audience know, is there a fee?
No, we try not to charge for Samuel. We have people that have been so kind and so loving, to give like a little love offering or something like that. But usually we try not to charge, because we really want Samuel to be out there spreading God's word,
Okay.
and spreading the message,
Okay. Now, I'm going to plug in something, because even though when we put it out there that there's no fee, the phone, people like free.
Right.
They
right,
want free.
Right.
But I always think about, you got to dress Samuel.
Right.
You got to get him there.
Yes.
Gas not free.
Right.
Got to have transportation.
Exactly.
If you're going to a long distance, you got to sleep somewhere.
Yes.
You got to pay Miss Beverly
Right.
at some point in
right.
time.
Right. Right.
So we want to encourage people, even though you say it's not a fee, that it is a fee.
It is a fee.
Because you have to, prepare all of that, and
Right.
that will soon end. That'll break a person down.
Exactly. And that's how we started off, with, just trying to go in and spread God's words. But as we begin to travel and everything, it's expensive, and we have to take money out of our pocket.
Right.
So
we want to
we're
encourage
grateful.
the
Yes.
public that is booking and want to share him to come and share with them. And we're going to talk about a fee. Because this can just go on and on and on, and you got to have something, to back it up. And you may want a foundation later on for him.
Exactly.
Go to college, so
Right,
all of
right.
those things. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on and talking with us and sharing with us. And we're going to come back. We're going to switch out and bring in Ms. Coleman. Take another break. You all do not want to miss what Samuel M. Green has to say. We'll be right back.
Tonight's guest is Samuel M. Green, evangelist and youth inspirational speaker. For speaking engagements, call 601-291-6010 or email samuelgreenbooking@gmail.com or log on to www.samuelmgreen.com or go to YouTube and type in C. Walker 189.
We're back, and again, I'm Peaches, and your host of On Location TV with my guest. We've changed the set a little bit. We still have Samuel Green with us, who is the evangelist and youth inspirational speaker. But now we have switched and added a part of the team, I think.
Yes.
Miss Beverly Coleman, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Now, we want to find out first just a little information about who is Beverly Coleman.
Okay, I'm actually Samuel. I began being his preschool teacher. I actually have an in-home small preschool and after-school tutorial program.
Okay.
And I met Samuel when he was about 13 months, premature as far as the age group that I work with.
Okay.
And he was sitting on my what I call my classroom floor when I got there.
Uh-huh.
Thought he was about 10 months old, and I asked my other half, which is my mom, my left hand,
Okay.
I asked, why is this child here? And she said, oh, I had talked to his mom, and she just wanted. I said, but why is he here? I said, I can't help. He's too small. I can't help him. But she convinced me to let him stay, and I told Joanne when he was about 18 months that he was gifted. And I could tell everybody, I wasn't speaking in reference to him being an inspirational speaker. At that point, I was strictly speaking in reference to him academically.
So you could tell something at that early age.
At that early age, I do a little thing that I do each morning with my preschoolers as far as the things that I teach them. It's a constant, and he sat and he watched that for about 3 months, and by the time I decided to pick him up off the floor and pay him a little attention, I put him in the chair, and he absolutely knew everything that we were doing, which consists of things like knowing the days of the weeks, the months of the year, his alphabets, how to count. He just picked that up just from listening.
Okay.
And I said, well, I said, he's going to be gifted. Oh, you think so? I said, sure. And
now that brings us up to probably right now. What role do you play with with Samuel right now?
well, actually, like she said, this began when Samuel was 3. I began teaching him to read at age 3. And she came to me one day and asked me that I think Samuel could read a story for story time at church. I said, sure, I'll find something that he can read. And we chose the creation, and he kind of prepared, and he read that. And that was the first thing that he actually did kind of publicly. And the next thing, I think he was about 5, like she told you about the prayer. But prior to him going to Birmingham, she had asked if he could come on the radio that night to do a segment where he would do a small little brief, as they say now, sermon. And she said, you think he can do that? I said, sure, he can do it. I'll come up with something. And to give you just a brief how I've really found out that he was gifted, I wrote the information out, I typed it out. I first asked him what did he want to talk about, because he has a repertoire of all his Bible stories and the things that he know. And I said, what do you think you want to talk about? And he told me Job, and I said, okay. And I actually typed everything out that he was going to say. I told him to read it a couple of times so that he could kind of get a feel. You got to keep in mind, he was just 5.
Right.
And he read it. So on the way, I picked him up from school, because he also comes to me after school. And I picked him up and I said, tell me what you remember about what we talked about as far as Job. And he started absolutely going word for word, did not miss a beat of everything that was on, probably consists about 3.5 pages. He had memorized. He had brought it to memory. And I remember so distinctly, my sister turned around and said, is he reading? I said, no. And at that point, so that's really how I began. And he did that on the radio that night. He actually read it, but at that point I knew he didn't have to. So the next time she said, well, can he come to my church in Birmingham to do something? And he did that, and the rest is kind of history. And that's basically what we do. I let him decide what he wanted to say, and then he began to want a pen on paper sometime. He don't need that. And he'll tell me what to say. When I'm typing it out, I'll say, you like that word, or you want to change this word? How do you want to say that? And that's basically how we do it. We kind of do it together, because I want him to be comfortable with what he's saying. And if he don't like a word, I tell him to change it. If you like it, say it. Just let it flow.
So what kind of feedback have you received, or you and the entire team, as well as Samuel, received from the public? Sometimes you get a lot of good, but then there's always some negative.
But the only negative, to be honest with you, the only negative that we've ever gotten, and it's usually from people that have never saw him do what he do, only just maybe look at a little clip or something, is that you need to let him be a child.
Right.
So this is a witness or a testimony today, he's what? A child.
Right.
And they feel like maybe we're pushing him too hard. when we prepare for something, it's after all schoolwork is done. I've helped all my other children that I have to help in the evening time, and we maybe spend 30 minutes, just depending on what he's going to do, a day. Sometimes we say, hey, we're going to do this one time, and we're not going to fool with it. Sometimes neither one of us want to do anything with it, and we'll say, well, tomorrow we're going to do a stellar performance. We're going to go over what you're going to do, and that's going to be it. So as far as him being pushed and we don't get that. So when we get to the venue, wherever we are, people are just amazed. They can't believe. We're critiquing him. You didn't do this. You didn't do that, and everybody's looking at us like, "Are you serious?
Really?
You know, really? You missed this and you missed that. You know." But
so it's really not.
And like I tell them all the time, I said nobody knows that you miss anything because it's all your words, what you say, and it's as long as we're not taking anything from the Bible, and we're not adding to it. We're just strictly sticking with the Bible, so it's going to be right. Like I tell them, however you say it, it's going to be right.
It's going to be right. So. Well, let's switch. I want to ask Samuel a couple of more questions. Now, what would you tell little girls and boys that's watching the show today? What would you tell them? What would you want them to know about Samuel and what you're doing for spreading the word?
Well, if I want to tell something to the kids, well, what I would tell them, if I couldn't speak like an inspirational speaker, if I can't speak, then you can't speak. But if I can, then you might can too.
So if they want to do something, if they have it in their heart to do something, you're telling them to step out on faith, that they can do it because God has their back. Now that's pretty good. That's a message within itself. Just that little one sentence right there.
Right.
Why do you like talking about God?
Because God is the almighty powerful one.
That says it right there. I'm just like, you hear, I'm just, okay, shut the interview down. What else is it to say? He has it. God has his back.
Right.
Now I'm amazed with all of this, and I'm joyful about it, but then on the serious part of it, I see the seriousness in it, that God really does have his back, has put him out there, has put all of you all in place to surround him to be able to do this. To do this. So what would you tell parents that have gifted children, or what advice would you give parents that there's more Samuels that's out there?
Right. If you have a gifted child, allow them to be gifted. Let them do what they do. I often tell Samuel when he's doing something, God has given everybody gifts, talents, and ability. Their gifts might not be yours, and yours might not be theirs. But if they have it, use them, encourage them. Before Samuel does anything, the first thing I ask him, do you want to do this? If you don't want to do it, tell me. And we will not do it. I said, I won't do it. Now, you have to talk to your mom. I said, but I'm almost sure if you don't want to do it, she's going to say don't do it. And again, I tell people that's like a punishment to Samuel if he cannot go out and spread the word. It's just a punishment. He'd rather do that than anything. And as far as if it's just a few people there, that's the only time we have to get on him because he think he don't have to shine as much. But the more people, the better, you know. And he just loves it. And like I said, I would tell people to make sure that you help them, put their gift out there, whatever it is. If it's singing, if it's dancing, if it's writing.
They can do it.
Just encourage them. And that's what his mom does. She goes 24/7 wherever they want him to go. If any way possible, they're going to be there. If it's in Birmingham, if it's in Nashville, if it's in Illinois, they're there. She has to go alone. Sometimes she has to do it solo, she and his dad. But she does it.
Well, I appreciate you all coming on the show.
Yeah,
we out of time. It passes so quick. Want you all to come back and share again with us. And on behalf of On Location TV, I'd like to present a certificate to you as being the youngest person to be on this show. I want you to come back and host the show. How about that? Okay?
Okay.
All righty. Well, this is all the time we have for this edition of On Location TV. We'll see you next time.